Tulio, yesterday there was a Comunidade Convention or conference also, you can say, to deliberate issues about Comunidade laws, the government which they are trying to make some changes or this amendments. You spoke in a lengthy discussion. But overall, if you go to see what was the decision, what were the views of the Comunidade Forum?
First of all, we welcome the decision of the government to hold this convention as provided for under Article 652 of the Code of Comunidades 1961. Now this convention, this session of the Comunidade Convention provides an opportunity to the Gaonkars and all the components to express their views on a general level, at a state level, of all the problems that these age-old bodies are facing. We all know that the Comunidades are our age-old heritage institutions of the ancient inhabitants of this state, and primarily meant to govern and manage their lands held in common ownership of each village. There are 223 villages, Comunidade bodies in the state, and it was all generally meant to further the cause of agriculture.
So what are the issues you all are facing? Or are you all okay with the suggestions of what the government is trying to bring out?
See, the main issues that were discussed, one, among other things, one was the inability of the Comunidade committees along with the administrator and the other authorities, the revenue authorities, to curb the menace of illegal constructions. Now this starts from the point that Comunidade land has been taken over by tenants under the provisions of the Agricultural Tenancy Act at the rate of 40 paise a square meter, and it is very clearly mentioned that such land, once the tenant takes over, shall be exclusively used only for agriculture and not be transferred nor used for any other purpose. But in flagrant violation of this, the tenants, some of the tenants are acquiring the land under these provisions, paying 40 paise, and such lands are being used without any concern for the law and for construction of houses and commercial establishments. So this menace needs to be tackled. In a related clause discussed in the same convention, we have pointed out that agriculture, for which these Comunidade bodies have come together in the ancient past, was declining in the state. Government is trying to make tall claims that they are promoting and furthering the cause of agriculture. But the statistics that are available prove otherwise, and there has been a drastic decline of agriculture in the last 20 to 25 years, and this is amply visible to the common man.
So was the Comunidade or the forum was okay with this, or they have totally opposed this regularization of this illegal housing?
Obviously, the regularization of illegal constructions has been opposed, because there is no way that we should legalize illegal constructions to give an example to the new encroachers to say that these matters will be regularized in due course. So this, I have repeated this in the past also, that encroachers being regularized, and many of them and most of them are migrants actually, maybe. And this is only an open invitation for further encroachments and illegal structures. I always say, what is the plight of the ordinary citizen of the state and the common man who run from pillar to post to acquire a small license from the PDA, town planning, municipality, village panchayat, conversion sanat from the office of the collector, and he tries to build a dream house of his out of his own sweat and earnings of his lifetime. And you have this on one side, the ordinary and common citizen doing this, and you have encroachers merrily doing so. The government also needs to answer this particular aspect of this entire exercise.
So once you all have objected, जे गव्हर्मेंटान फाटल्या दिसांनी डिसिजन घेतले वो चिंता पळय ते रेग्युलरायझेशन करपाक सो तेजेर कितें जातलें आतां
ना तेजेर आमचो निशेध आसाच
आसात?
आमी-
आसतलो.
कित्याक हे पळय रेग्युलरायझेशन पळय गव्हर्मेंट सांगता ते आमकां कसलीच म्हायती ना हेजे वयर आनी गव्हर्मेंटान अजुनूय तेजेर एक सर्वे सुद्दां केल्लो ना की कसली आनी कितली घरां आसा खंयच्या वाठारान आनी खंय ते इलिगल कन्स्ट्रक्शन तांकां हें मनान आसा तांकां तर एक पर्टिक्युलर एरिया मनान आसा ती गव्हर्मेंटान सांगून दिवची पयलीं आनी ताचेर मागीर भासाभास जावनी ताचेर सर्वे जावनी बेश्टे तशे स्टेटमेंट केले जाल्यार इट इज ओनली एन ओपन invitation for people to carry on with the illegal
So what
construction.
happens if your suggestions are not taken and still government goes ahead?
There is no question of not taken. This 652 convention is called under the provisions of the Comunidade Code and the government is duty bound to accept our suggestions made in absolute good faith and in the right spirit of the law so that the cause of Comunidades, the cause of Comunidade lands and the cause of agriculture in general is promoted. So the other points that were discussed included streamlining of the office of the administration. You know, the administration is conducted through 3 zones, the north, central and south zone. The offices of the central zone were refurbished during the tenure of the last revenue minister, Mrs. Jennifer Monserrat. The 2 administration offices at the north and the south are in bad shape and we have pointed out to the government and we have even offered to the government that the member comunidades of the respective zones are ready to contribute to the repairs and renovation of these offices which both in this case are heritage structures and need to be preserved.
So any more meetings would be held like this convention will be held?
We have asked for, among other resolutions that were passed, one important was that the Comunidade Convention should be held maybe once in 3 years so that the consultation of the government with these bodies will improve. And even otherwise, the government is or needs to consult the Comunidades before any amendments are being thought of so that the Comunidades also are aware. We have pointed out, even in my keynote address, I pointed out that we also are aware that the code of 1961, there are certain provisions that need to be amended maybe for fruitful reforms to come. We want reforms, but reforms that are beneficial to the Comunidades so that we in turn are able to revitalize these bodies and improve their function.
So at this moment, whatever government was thinking to make changes and all, that is, comes to a standstill with this?
Yeah, we are hopeful that the government will listen to the voice of the Gaunkars conveyed through the Article 652 convention that was held yesterday, and government would engage in a meaningful dialogue with the Comunidades in future before any far-reaching changes are brought about, which will weaken these bodies. And the cause, I am repeating, the cause of agriculture is suffering in the state.
But when you say hopeful, if it doesn't listen to you all and goes
then we have got our own associations of the Comunidade. We will meet and we will discuss this if this doesn't happen and take steps on our future course of action. One future course of action always is to move the courts and challenge things or amendments which are not in favor of our bodies. But we also pointed out that Comunidades have been cooperating with the state in many avenues for many years now when Comunidade lands have been acquired to build infrastructure for the state like highways, bridges and even organizations which are in of commercial nature like you have IDC, EDC, Housing Board. Only what we have made a request to the government that Comunidade lands when are acquired for purpose of social infrastructure or infrastructure related to a commercial use, that the Comunidade bodies should be made permanent stakeholders in such development rather than just dispossessing them of their assets and acquiring them by the these assets being acquired by the government.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.